do what is right. Wakenya hawana shida, you know, like hata kama nimekupea tax yangu, but I have a clean water, I have a good road, I can walk into a hospital, get treatment. People will have no problem. But these people are so selfish. Sometimes I usually think they're just demons ruling us. They're just demons leading us, because you ask, where does common sense live? One of the peers right now, yeah, he's a medical doctor. He used to lead trade unions, I think around 2017. But now the guy is in power. He's totally different from what he was fighting for. Yeah, and this is a whole profession. You see, it seems there is I don't know whether it's a cancer or whatever. So uko huku, muna fight. Then when people get those opportunities, they turn back against the same Kenyans who are really depending on them. So round hii, the silent majority, lazima muamke. You ensure wewe ni banker your day. You ask, you call your colleagues who are bankers, did you vote? Na mtu mwenye hata vote will take it personally. If you go to a salon as a lady unashuka, uliza huyo mtu wa salon umechukua kura, because that they let it, we make it so big, and we make it big, so big they can't rig. Because sometimes watu watakwambia si bado wataiba. Unajua, when they realize watu wengi hawaja vote, they will still with 230,000. Unasikia mtu ameshinda na 40,000 votes. But when all of you come out, mtu itafika, it's 5 it will be too huge. They will be looking like, when I look at even 2002, they were like, oh, hey, more you looked and said, hey, Wakenya wameamua kuunite. Hata hapa nikiamua, it is impossible. So that is what you want to see in 2027. The other thing, as I conclude, tusijidharau. That small thing you can do, you can change this nation. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of education. Just that small thing. Yeah. If you imagine, if, for example, we all decide, like, let me give you an example. CBC was brought. Parents kept quiet. They were silent. They thought, it will affect. Now look at, I'm telling you, the children who are doing CBC, I said, I'll give CBC 15 years. Those kids' critical thinking will be very low. They will be so confused. And this is what the elites want. They want their children to dominate your children. Their children go to Cambridge. Their children go to the UK. Their children go to the US. Their children go to South Africa. But your children get poor quality education so that their children can always dominate you. And that thing pisses me off, because this is robbing our education. Will only be left for some few. Now, they're also doing the same for healthcare. I tried to call out the shenanigans. We raised our voices. Right now, as we speak, you cannot access SHA if you have not paid Fuliza. Na kama hauna Fuliza, na hauna pesa ya kulipa premiums, you don't have the money to pay those premiums. The government is telling you, we can give you a Fuliza. Through, not a Fuliza, a hustler fund. You cannot access SHA if you have a hustler fund loan. And if you don't have a hustler fund loan and you cannot be able to raise the amount of money to pay the premiums for that year, they are telling you, we are going to give you a loan. Let me give a demonstration. Allow me to spend a little time to demonstrate this. So what that means is, if I do the proximity testing, so where you are going to register for SHA, you fill in your details, you say you have a Matofali house, you have CG, 1 car and all that. Then they tell you, based on what we have analyzed, you need to pay, let's say, 2,000 shillings every month for SHA. But when you do 2,000 times 12, that is 24,000. So you realize, I don't have that 24,000. So what is this government telling you to do? Tutakupe a hustler fund loan. Okay, so you, because you are sick, because most of the people taking SHA are actually people who are very sick. So you, because you're desperate, utakimbia haraka, wacha nichukue hiyo loan ya 24,000, umelipa hiyo SHA. So ukaingia, maybe it's an operation you are being done, maybe it's something you are, maybe it's a treatment you wanted, uka-recover. So you can already loan ya 24,000. Now, when most people maybe you're recuperating, you have not worked, so you didn't even clear that 24,000 loan. Now, let's say the next year, premiums are renewed every year for this SHA. So the next year, let's say another thing happens to you and you need maybe an emergency care, or maybe you may need another kind of a treatment. So then you remember, they gave me 24,000 as quite clear. And right now you need another new premium of another 24,000. So already now they are putting people into a debt system, a slavery system. They have already now scrapped off free primary education. Now watu wataweza kulipa free primary education. The new funding model for university students, people are, it's the young people, by the time they finish the course they are doing, you find they have a minimum of 700,000 of debt, and they're not even assured they're going even to get that employment, and this debt is accruing interest. So we are almost being put as a nation of debt. You will be, by the time you unaanza maisha at 30, uko na madeni za SHA, uko na madeni sijui za hustler fund, uko na madeni pia za the funding model, and maybe even that little the government was telling you to pay. Your mom also took a loan to take you to school. So guys, if we do not rise up, this government is actually making us slaves. And why do they want to do that? So that now their children can dominate you. Because mashida zako malonzi na kukimbiza. So you will get the useless kids who are never creative, they're not productive, because tell me why the son of a president, all he can think is a matatu industry. That tells you these guys are not even creative, for Christ's sake. And these are the guys that will come and dominate you. So these children have gone to the UK to study. They are the same guys who will come and dominate us. So what I'm saying is this: we kept silent when CBC came and introduced to let it go, because they believe Kenyans are docile. This time around, I'm telling guys, even if you are not an activist, you'll have to be an activist by default, so long as you're in this country, until we get what is rightful for this nation, until we see we get what we need as a country. Until that, we can never rest, because the first liberation that was done by the Mau Mau, it was hijacked. We got fake people. They taught us a different history in school, but the more you do your research, you realize that liberation was hijacked. And the children of the Mau Mau, and we are grandchildren of those Mau Mau, we have gone through that. We are not yet liberated. Now we are at the point of now the second liberation. And this second liberation, we should not allow the political class to hijack this. And I agree with Hannah. Tusianze kusema mtu wetu. They're coming with those languages. Oh, let's unite as Bantu. Oh, these ones are Nilo. That is crap. We should discuss those issues. Na tunasema wewe tukikuchagua, atukuchagui juu uko mwanamke. We are not voting you because you are young. We are not voting you because of who you know. We are voting you because what can you do for this country? And then show us the track record of what you can do for this nation. And then show us how. Where is that vision that you have? Gone are the days whereby we'll be clapping for people just because of you have influence of money, you are the son of so and so, what. No. We want to tell you, and we will put into account. And when you do what is not right, let's do the French way. The French got tired and they're like, you're eating bread and us we're sleeping hungry. No way. And they did a revolution. Why not? If that is what will liberate this country, so be it. Because either way, we are doomed on all angles. Yeah. So when you're middle class, your pay slip is 45% gone. The car you're driving already, they want that fuel. Now that pre-primary education is gone, SHA is waiting for you. You have your mother whose pension hatujui NSSF ilienda wapi. We don't even know where it is, and they worked for over 25 years. My goodness. Me sahi nimesema kaa mbaya. Yes, sometimes I walk on the road looking over my shoulder, but I said, but already we are doomed on all corners. To make sure we're already cornered. So the only thing we can do, kaa mbaya. Me I say kaa mbaya. We have to revolt, and we have to stand, and we have to arise in your own small way. So if you're a preacher, preach with the Bibles, preach the gospel, but also tell the guys the truth, what is happening to this country. If you're a doctor, treat the patients, yes, where Tibu Wagonjwa, but enlighten and do the civic education, because this is what the Ghanaians did. If you're a teacher, teach the children, yes, but also tell them, you guys, the leaders, that the way they're operating is wrong. If you're a banker, bank, yes. Now, pia wewe kama ni wale, you speak one thing, but at night you're a Nicodemus. Chini ya maji, you do shoddy policies. Yeah, you're a banker, but you are the one who is hiding money for this politician. You are a doctor, you are the same one money laundering for these politicians with some funny hospitals you're opening. If you are a, you're a teacher, you're the one opening schools for this money laundering. We should actually kill airtime for these guys. They should even work in a place we're not even awed by their presence, because what have they done for us? Yeah, so why should we clap for them? We should deny them audience, because if you want to kill a politician, deny them audience. Don't give them air. Yeah, mute them. When they try to say, tutaki kusikia uongo, we don't want to listen to your lies. And then those people, they may not look like it. But if they can say, they can show the direction, they can walk the talk, they have proven integrity, so be it. Hata kama anakaa chokora, but that person akiongea, ukiona venye amedeal na integrity, let that person lead. But let's move away from, this charade of, looking at people who are well put together. People fake it. And then now once, like Kasarani, they voted for Karori. Yeah, he looked composed, he has money. But the people of Kasarani are now complaining and crying. That guy, even in parliament, has never opened his mouth or even to conduct any legal anything or draft any law. And he's busy doing the betting and all that, putting people into gambling. People are committing suicide because of gambling. And these are the same guys at tunawapigia makofi at they are our leaders. Far it be from us. Me personally, I'm angry because this guy was one of the son, and it has really pained me. Really pained me to the core. And because you find someone like Peter Ndegwa, he's the guy in charge of Safaricom. Yeah, he calls himself, Nini, and accolades. Yet he's the same guy using that company, releasing Kenyans' information. These guys are abducted by those people tracing us. They're all in cahoots. Now, if we are not careful as Kenyans, KRA will now be eavesdropping on your phone, how much money you are making, and doors will be knocked on. Surveillance will be 24/7. So what kind of a life is that? Unakuwa surveilled, uko na madeni, your kids don't have a job, your mother who is old cannot even access healthcare. So we would rather fight for it. We liberate, because even those who in Mau Mau decided, let's go to the forest, come and buy, but we will liberate ourselves. We have gone are the days we'll have to carry all these depending in our necks and all that. Let me end there because I'm so angry. I'm so pissed off. But kila mtu, when it comes to 2027, ensure your family, where you work, where you buy maziwa, where you go to the salon kinyozi, hiyo siku make sure mse amekuonyesha alipiga kura. Na kama mtu apigi kura, hiyo biashara. Personally, that's what I told my saloonists. Kama hautapiga kura, hautainishuka tena. That's it. We make ultimatums until kila mtu atokeleze aende about hiyo siku. 12 million Kenyans kept silent, and now look at the shenanigans we have right now in power. Asanteni.
Asante sana, thank you for that submission, quite a long submission, and I agree the rage. Let's bring in Dr. Milton for his opening statement, and then Bonnie. Thank you. Dr. Milton.
Still no word from Dr. Milton.
Let's go to Bonnie, maybe. It's not working for him.
Do you hear Bonnie?
I can't hear Bonnie.
Ken Maina has been waiting and he didn't answer to our call. So unless we hear from Bonnie, I think we'll go to Ken Maina.
Okay.
Thank you, Redemptor. Thank you, all the hosts. Good evening to everyone. Mine is just an observation and rather a support to Cairo and some of the speakers who have spoken about everything, about even the loss of this young man. But on the issue of voting, the silent millions who never voted in 2022, my question is, as a Kenyan, when they wake up to vote, who will they be voting to or voting for? Because we should be asking ourselves, by now we should have realized, or maybe we should have marked, who are the MCAs, who are the MPs that we are going to wake up in 2027 so that we can have a sure bet of the people we are going to take to this parliament or to this institution. Remember, all these institutions that are currently being held by people, from judiciary all the way to anti-corruption bodies, they are failing because the problem is with the parliament itself. If we had the correct parliamentarians, all these other institutions will be working, because remember, with a strong parliament that have people who are patriotic enough, nationalists in that parliament, they will be able to jail judges. They will be able to jail even anti-corruption officers, the heads of anti-corruption officers, because they are the representative of the people. So my question is, when we wake up in 2027, who are we gonna vote for? Have we been able as a country or as a citizen to be able to identify the deacons, the lawyers, the pastors, the teachers, the doctors who can represent us and tell them, hey, we don't need you to be a doctor in 2027. We don't need you to be an engineer in 2027. We want you to go and represent us in parliament so that we can have good laws. We can have people, women and men who can account, women and men who can jail people, women and men who can get good laws to clip the powers of the president, to clip the power of judiciary. If a judge is corrupt, can we have men and women in that parliament who can evoke a law that will ensure even the judiciary itself is working? So an observation that I'm worried that we might wake up to still send bozos in parliament come 2027 if we think about it critically. And now, Redemptor, my challenge is for space, the space team and the leadership in space team. Why can't the space itself morph on to maybe a movement of some sort? Like, can we have these spaces morph on to presser conferences? Can we have Hillary and the rest and Abdi saying us now we'll not be having space? This space will morph on to a party by next week, a party by next year, so that we can have people like Banis, Dr. Milton, Benice, Free Kenya, Abdi, as those people whom we can wake up in 2027 and say, these are the men and women that we'll have in parliament, because we cannot wake up to just anybody, because at the end of the day, politics is all about selling hope for our country. But if we don't have the right people who have come out clearly to show, and maybe we have identified, then whom are we going to vote for? So my challenge is all these spaces. My challenge is, can these spaces morph on to leadership that we want, the leadership that we are crying for? If there are no people coming up that we are crying for justice, right? Yes. But if there are no people, then it is you in these spaces that are supposed to morph on from spaces to leadership. Let's have even 100 parties that we have Cairo there as an MCA, as an MP. All right. We have Abdi with his own party to become an MP, to become a governor, so that we can have the right people in 2027. Other than we'll be listening to DCP, waiting for gatekeeping. If Gachagua says this is your governor in Nairobi, we follow. If ODM comes and says this is your MP, we follow. And come 2027, thereafter, we still be here. And maybe by that time, we will be a little bit old, because this energy is not always there. And we will have sold the country to the wrong people. So that's my take, and good evening to all.
Thank you, Ken. I see Dr. Milton is back. And before Dr. Milton, you can unmute and do a voice test. I think I just want to respond to you, mine, and say, yes, now speak if you can be heard. Go on.
Just conclude your sentence, then I can.
Asante. Ni vile nimekungojea sana kwa hii space. I think
Poleni,
majority of Kenyans, Dr. Milton, I want you to respond to my comment. I think majority of Kenyans know who they will not vote for. And that for me is very encouraging. I think I'll just finish it at that, and then you can take it up. Many of us will know who we will not vote for. And I asked one Gen Z in the villages, he said, at the right time, we will know it is this one. And I believe him. Karibu, Dr. Milton.
thank you so much. I have had a very, very difficult time processing what is happening and what our country is turning into. And what we have witnessed this week is an upgrade of what was happening the week before. And if this is anything to go by, then we are likely to see worse, and the country is likely to get worse off than it is right now. And that is the reason why, I have struggled to understand why it is taking us so long to realize that we cannot be talking about 2027, because maybe that 2027 will not come. And if it comes, maybe we will not be there, or maybe we will not have a country. I mean, the heartlessness with which this regime has conducted itself over the last 2.5 years is mind-boggling. It's beyond comprehension. Because look, how callous, how cold can one be other than what we are seeing? They started with the president who's speaking lies. Now they've gone to killing people unapologetically, simply because they want to send a message. And that is what is happening. And we, like I said last week, we are going to see more and more chilling experiences as we get closer to June 25th. And this is what is happening now. I am struggling to put together, to piece together a coherent message. But then I am again reminded that this is exactly what they want from us. When they can silence the likes of Milton speaking here, the likes of the other vocal people, because of anger, because of fear, because of our inability to put our head and our thoughts together to speak against them. That is exactly what they are doing. And that is why I am saying that even now, even as painful as it is, as difficult as it may be for us to coherently express ourselves, we must try our level best and still bring out our A game when it comes to eloquence of expressing ourselves. Because then that is what we will use to mobilize our fellow Kenyans to rise up and say 2027 or June 2020, August 2026 in the mind of my brother Willis Otieno is too far away. We have to be able now to say justice. We use Albert's death. We use the ignominy and the embarrassment and the insult on the children, the men and women of Kapseret who are being treated to a false empowerment, a narrative where people are being used and their poverty is mocked through that kind of display of bravado, and only for them to go back and loot more and bring back in the name of an empowerment program. And let me ask you, fellow Kenyans, this Farouk being paraded as the chief guest, we all know who he is representing. We all know that that is not his money. We all know that now, because we cornered Kasongo and William Ruto, we should now actually start calling him by name, so that the spirit of the Kenyan people, the cries of the Kenyan people can actually follow him. Because when we are calling him, and this is now spiritual, and this is where I'm going to end, when in the spiritual realm If I want to harm you, if I want to connect with you, I will call you by your name. But the moment I don't call you by your name, anything I say against you will not follow you. Anything I do against you will have no impact. As Kenyans, I know it is not easy. I know the coded language works, but we now need to start calling William Ruto by name when we are saying, William Ruto, stop us. William Ruto, you have to go. William Ruto, you are the evil leader that we are speaking against. Fellow Kenyans, let us all rise up. Let us not sleep. Albert's dad, I saw myself. I'm a father to a 14-year who expresses himself, who speaks without fear, who has started running for office to lead his peers, and he comes and tells me, Dad, I want to be the president of my fellow students at school, and this is the reason why I want to be that. When I saw Mzee Meshack, I asked myself, that could be me speaking about my son who's 14 years old, because he expresses himself. Because I get calls from school and they say, your son is just like you. He speaks articulately. Whenever we want anybody to speak for the school, he is the one speaking for the students. Why would William Ruto, why would the police kill him? I mean, we know the size of the police cells. Today, I want to, like I said again, let us keep ranting, fellow Kenyans. This is meant to be a message that whatever you're planning to commemorate June 25th, Olewen, that is what they want to tell us. And that is why we must agree that now it is no longer about an individual. I have seen a friend of mine, and this is the last point I'm going to make. I hope I will not get distracted again. A friend of mine who, when I will not mention her name, when we were fighting to reform Football Kenya Federation, she once told me, Jagot, that's what she called me. And we sat somewhere in Nairobi, and she told me, Jagot, these people, you can't do anything to them. Wewe, can you be quiet? Watu wengine wajipiganie. Jagot, you are not running for president, you're not running for any office. Why would these people kill you? Because they see you as their only enemy remaining, because you have refused their money, because you have refused to be fought, because you are always in the corridors of justice fighting for Kenyan football. They have bought everybody else. Jagot, nyamaza tu. And today, or is it, yeah, today, I have seen she has tweeted and said that Kevin Moinde, the other young man that was taken into custody in the same way Albert was, now this lady, my good friend, is saying she knows Kevin personally. And it hurts that Kevin is being held for merely tweeting something. And I remembered what she told me that time. Now it has come closer home. Fellow Kenyans, these same police killed my wife in 2018. And they threw her body in Nanyuki River. This is getting fresh every day. Fellow Kenyans, now if you thought you're safe, this is the time to think again. I am getting emotional. I want to drop my.
Redemptor, over to
We
you.
have to fight. We have to fight to save our country. As I struggle, like I said, emotions will not stop us from speaking. I am getting emotional, yes, but fellow Kenyans, let us fight. And even through these emotions, I will keep speaking. I will keep urging that we do the right thing. Some of you have wondered, I don't know, I have wondered why I speak so passionately, but now today I've given you an idea. If you go online, if you want to know the price of the heartlessness of this police in our country, today I've given you an idea. They killed my wife in 2018, October 31st. And her body, the same police could pretend to call me and say they discovered my wife's lifeless body. Anyway, that is what it means to some of us when these things happen. When we see a regime that doesn't value life. Thank you, Kenya. Let me leave it at that. Thank you, Abdi. Thank you, Hillary. Thank you, Rita.
Dr. Milton, we applaud your courage to be vulnerable in the space, and it has landed because many people here are active citizens, and some people have a cause, some people are the cause, and some people have been called for such a time as this. So we draw from your courage, and we send really our apologies for what you've endured from 2019. And as you rebuild your life and as you keep fighting, you're not just fighting for yourself, and we thank you for your service to Kenya and to humanity. I think I've lost track of who Flavia has been here. Flavia, let's hear a lady's voice. And thank you
Yeah,
for coming to the
yeah.
space.
Thank you so much, Director. Flavia, as you come in, yeah, I usually say that, yeah, it is important to say that I've been quiet today for a long time, but I'm sorry about that. But also, we let us give action points. Let us give that what is the way forward, because 2025 is now and again ending, and all these things, people, young people are still dying. They're giving fake statements. We are seeing those things. Flavia, go ahead. Thank you so much, Abdi and Redemptor, for that. Flavia, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Hilary, Redemptor, and Abdi, and everyone in this space. I will start with the action point that I've seen someone taking on online. And of course, I wish to be part to it, and I will do more on my end as well. Nelson Amenya has posted and say, one, all of us, if you are around someone who is being arrested, please take out your camera and take a video of everything that is going on. And then in addition to that, come online. And online is important. Having this space and having people who are out to speak against the bad things that are happening, it's not all in vain. Come online, reach out directly to him, reach out to anyone that you believe has enough influence, and let them speak about the arrest. Because where we are right now as a people, one, we are the ones who are going to protect ourselves, and two, we are the opposition. So as what is her name? She said, we are the ones who are going to take an active role, each one of us in our individual capacity. So take the video, come online, share a message with him, share a message with anyone who has any form of influence, and then let the rest of us speak about it, and also in our individual capacity as lawyers or any other capacity that anyone can take on, let's support in whichever way we can. I looked at the notice that the police a statement meant to fly. Logically, that is the most unreasonable thing that someone could ever say. How is someone supposed to die just from hitting their head against the wall? And it's not gorofa kwenye utasema alianguka kutoka huku akagonga kichwa. What is the possibility of that? When I saw that, I was like, either they blatantly disrespect us and they do not care what we think about what they are saying, or Mungu ameachana nao and it's time to expose their nakedness. And I am leaning towards the second part. I will keep it simple. What are the functions of the police service? Protecting life under the Police Act. Protecting life and property. Protecting life and property. A few years back, I'll give a small story. My phone was stolen. The person who stole my phone used details in my phone to reach out to other people. And then through reaching out to other people, he managed to steal from one of my friends their phone as well. So this friend, and I think maybe rightfully so, she thought maybe I worked with these people and she went and reported me to the police. And when the police reached out to me and they asked me what was the story, and then I told them everything that had happened. And they asked me, why did you not report to the police that your phone was stolen? And I blatantly told them, because you will do nothing about it. I will not get it back even if I told you. And that is what has become this country. Anything that is lost, you will not even bother to go to the police because truthfully, there is nothing they will do about it. And somehow maybe we can make peace if they kept it to just property. But they have extended it up to the lives of the people. Now the police are being used to kill the people. In June 2024, they did that. They started killing the people, of course, way before that, but they started killing the people. And from that day, it has not stopped. It is through abductions. It's through every other means. Anytime a voice speaks out and says something that the leadership does not accept, or even the police leadership does not accept, they step out and they find the person or the people. They abduct them. They kill them. Do you know what I don't understand is this person is in Migori. He's in Migori. Each police post has a jurisdictional mandate. Migori police station has the mandate to arrest the people who are in Migori. Central police station is supposed to focus on people who are around that station. What offense did this person commit such that Central police station had the right under what law to travel up to Migori to pick this person and bring him the same night up to Central police station? What kind of offense was that? And why was even the Migori police station not involved at all? And maybe they do a transfer if it's an offense that related to a crime that relates to Central police station. We even start from that. Under what jurisdiction were they acting to go to Migori to pick this person? And then something else that we see online every other time. While executing their mandate, which is protecting life and property, among other functions, the police are supposed to exercise it in accordance with human rights. That is under the Constitution. And in accordance with the Bill of Rights, which is equally part of human rights. And one of the rights under Article 44 of the Constitution is every time a person is arrested, they are supposed to come to you either with a warrant or without a warrant, depending with the offense, and tell you, we are arresting you because of this and that and that. You have a right to remain silent, and you have a right to seek out a lawyer or reach out to any person, any contact person who will help you through this process. Of late online, I am seeing people, they are posting, oh, that is not an abduction, that is an arrest. When the police people come to you and they start harassing you and they pull you and they are beating you and they are like pulling you over the ground, how is that an arrest? Which part of that has someone been read their Miranda rights and told you have a right to reach out to someone? You have a right to a lawyer. And they kept this person in a room. Chances were either they were solely beating this person or they were trying to extract some information from this person, meaning they were speaking to them even without them having access to any lawyer or any person who could help them through the process. Disregard of the Constitution, disregard of the Bill of Rights, and they are the people who are supposed to enforce the laws. They have failed thoroughly. Kenya, we are living in a situation whereby the political leadership is weaponizing the institutions. If you are a politician and you say something or you do something that the government is not happy about it, they send to you ESCC. And we start seeing over the media all these crimes that you've done, all these bad things that you've done that they knew before. But because it was not convenient for them to speak before, they wait for this time and then they start harassing you. Or sometimes even there is nothing. They just want bad publicity on your name. ESCC, an institution being used by the government to punish the people who speak against them. If you are a common mwananchi and you go ahead and you speak against the government, they send to you this, what is it called? The DCI and the police service. They are either going to abduct you or they are going to abduct you and kill you. That's the Kenya we've become. I was raised under Kibaki's time. Maybe I was too young. Maybe I did not have access to media, but I did not see this. But we have a presidency who, the road starts from the top. He has no respect for the rule of law. He uses institutions to trump the law. And now the institutions have blatant disrespect for the rule of law. Surely we cannot continue to live like this. I tell people, if we are to wait for 2027, it's a make or break it. We have Botswana to lead us. We have a country like Botswana that leads us by example. We have a country like Ghana. We have a country like Mozambique, a country like Burkina Faso. Reforms have to happen in these institutions. And that can only happen, one, if we take on the streets or if we are waiting for 2027. All of us have to turn up and all of us have to be part of the change. Botswana right now, in addition to recovering all the loot from the previous government, they are making reforms in their different institutions, starting from the procurement committees, but also the police service. Same to Ghana. More so Mozambique. Mozambique is the one which is doing rampant change on their enforcement institutions. Really, Kenyans, we have something to do. If we are waiting for 2027, it's a make or break. Because people either become good because they are born good, or you make them become better. And I feel like 2027 is our chance to make them be better. So as we sit here, I say being in this space, one, is not a waste of time. Being online is not a waste of time. I think it's a platform for communication, and it's important for all of us in our individual capacity to speak on the ills, and above that, find out ways to do more. But additionally, our civic duty is important, and that includes voting, among other measures. So thank you so much for hosting this space. I am really sad. I am really disappointed. Sometimes when it's about economic crimes, maybe you say there's a way you can tolerate a day longer, but now it's about life. This is really saddening to live in such a country. I learned at that.
Bonnie,
Update. I've seen.
yeah, Bonnie was
Okay.
Hey, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Bonnie.
Awesome. How you guys doing? Thanks for the opportunity. You know, I listened to Dr. Milton. And prior to that, I listened to Beatrice, and you know, their mood captures how I feel about our country right now. You know, when you look at what's happening in our country, there's an apathy system in place. You know, we talk about and think about a place like South Africa where for a long period of time, whites dominated. A very small minority of the country dominated everyone else, subjugated them, denied them rights, killed them. That's what's happening in our country. The only difference is that the people that are doing this to us look and sound like you. 1% of the population. You know, us the sufferers, we meet on these spaces to cry, to agonize and complain, and we are the 99%. We are the 99%. And listening to Beatrice, you know, we get courage from people like that and Dr. Wilson because, you know, I think we are at a point where in our country we have to accept that we've reached the Rubicon. You know, we can't turn around. We cannot turn around. I think the way I will capture where we are in our country right now is that the future is not worth it without change. The future is not worth it without change. If what we're going through right now is the future for us, you know, for people like me, I'm saying it's not worth it. Frankly, I think we need to choose to go a different route. You know, that might mean death and you know a lot of other things for some of us. But I think it's the only way to go. You know, we had a moment. You know, think about what happened during the period where, you know, our forefathers looked at the situation and said, "We cannot. There's no way we can continue what we are doing right now." And they rose up against the colonizers, knowing very well that most likely doing so meant death for them. But they did it anyway because the price of rising up was, you know, a better future for their children. And that happened to be true for a couple of decades, and now we're back in the same system. We have to rise up today and say the future is not worth it if it does not change. If what we are going through right now is our future, we need to reject it 100%, even though that means death and other circumstances for a lot of us. How can it be that in your country, the average citizen today in Kenya participates in the economy only by paying taxes? That's it. That's it. You pay taxes and that's it. You do not consume any of the benefits of citizenship. You go to a hospital, it doesn't function for you. You take your child to a hospital, they die on a stretcher because there's no equipment, there's no doctor, there's no hospital. And when there's a hospital, there's no equipment. And yet there are funds to take care of you. You go to a hospital, and the people that we've allowed to make these decisions for us, they never send their kids to the same school. They don't go to the same hospital that you do. They're the people that are making decisions for you. You know, if you follow any of my analysis, I tell you that the vast majority of resources in our country are consumed by 1 or 2% of the population. That has to change. It has to change. But it's not going to change through discussion. It's going to change by all of us rejecting the status quo. You have to reject the status quo. I don't know what else to tell you. The future is not worth it for me without change. Asante.
I see Dr. Milton's hand is up. Dr. Milton, you want to speak again before we find David Ogenga?
Oh, I'm here. Sorry. Did somebody call me?
So,
This is
I
David.
just wanted
Yeah,
to
just a minute,
clarify.
David.
Sorry?
I just wanted to clarify something. Dave, just before you come in, I have seen a lot of people asking me to clarify something. So I want to say this, that since 2018, when that incident happened, it was in the news. Some of you may remember, or if you didn't relate, now you can. That the police claimed that she died of drowning. And I want to tell you that to date, No single arrest has ever been made, and there has never been any investigation, even when people have talked about IPOA. And so sometimes when I'm seeing people talking about IPOA and independent investigations, I know it's a charade. My daughter, who was 2 years old at the time when her mom left us, she's now a big girl. She's 8 years old, going to 9. My son is now a teenager. He was barely 7 years old at the time. And so you want to use that if you thought that some of us just speak for the sake of it. Now you know why we speak the way we do and why we keep saying that this thing is personal to some of us. The experience when we talk about it, when we have zero expectations from a regime that we currently have. Huu mwiba sisi ushatudunga, we are dealing with that. And how many of us do you want to have before you can actually realize that this is something that requires all of us to be together? I have gone through that pain, but I keep saying you don't have to have the same experience because we can come together as a people and and emancipate ourselves and demand accountability, get better governance for our country. So, Hillary, just to conclude in response to what you said, what is the way forward? There are no two ways. There is only one way. A serious mobilization of our people to rise up against the leadership of William Ruto and this entire political and administrative system. And the only way to do it, we have tried to do it through the ballot. They have refused to listen. They have gone to parliament. And I'm not advocating for anarchy, but I'm saying Article 37, the right to picket, the right to get out on the street and demand that, you know what, you guys, we're going to stage sit-ins in parliament all over the county assemblies where all these abuses are taking place, and we say we are not going home until William Ruto and your government comes down. It can be done. It is doable. This is the month when we can get this done. This is the time we can do it. So no need for other abstract ideologies, because what they do is they manage our time, they manage our emotions, and they buy themselves time in the process. We cannot afford to do that, because guess what? They have the power that we have donated to them, and they have the money that they are stealing from us and now bringing it back in the name of empowerment. All be in solidarity, and we all have a role to play, directly, indirectly, through proxy, and using the voices that we have and the energy that we have. Otherwise, we will not be there tomorrow, and there will be no country, and we would live slaves in our own country just because we did not speak when it happened to others. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Milton, for that clarification. And truly, a mysterious death always leaves people wondering what really happened. And yeah, we cannot talk about that here long enough. David Ogenga, karibu to the space.
Thank you, Redempta. It's actually David Ogega, but I'll take it either way.
Sorry,
No,
sorry
it's
for that.
okay. Yeah. So, guys, thank you. I've been listening to y'all, and I think it's fair to say that we have a lot of what I consider comedy, meaning we in agreement on a lot of things. We have a common enemy, whom we know who it is. We have common grievances. We have a common welfare to pursue. My name's, of course, David Ogega. I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm thinking some of you guys here that I know of, including Dr. Milton. Uh, we've been in the trenches for quite a long time. And I don't know if most of you in the diaspora are still back home in Kenya. And I raise these purposely to say that our common purpose now has to find a common platform. There's a speaker earlier that mentioned that, she was speaking about the constitutions and the arrests that happened, which have been way too common. Our people being arrested and they end up dead. There's anybody who gets arrested with a warrant. So you can argue that a lot, if not all, the arrests that have been happening have been kidnappings or abductions. That said, when we say we know that what's wrong with our country because we live it or our families live it, those of you back home still live in it, I think we're past lamentations. In other words, about it, what's the action that needs to be taken? And I give a lot of credit and credence to the Gen Z for what you set in motion this last year. I'm thinking most of you on the call are Gen Zs from what I've heard. You really, really turned the tide on Kenya, shone the light on Kenya, and shone the light on the atrocities that are being committed by Kasongo and his posse. But I think what you guys missed, well, what the Gen Zs missed, it's the structure. They came out there, we're tribeless, we're leaderless, we're whatless. And I think that gave these people a chance to infiltrate them. I think it's a lesson learned. But I say this to say that we in the diaspora, starting with myself, Dr. Milton, and a few of us that work in collaboration with each other, we're submitting to you that we want to partner with you, right? So we want to get past, again, I can't stress this enough, that we're beyond lamentations. We're beyond speaking to what is wrong. That I think it's done. So to that end, it's turned out, as we all know, as many of you have said in this call, they don't care that we lament. They don't care that we point out. They will catch many of us, of you still in Kenya, arrest you, kill you, a few of you to instill fear. We want you to leverage us in the diaspora, right? We're a good resource for you in terms of raising awareness. As you guys might remember, not too long ago, what's his name? Odinga was defeated in AUC, right? It wasn't happenstance. It didn't just happen. There's a lot of us that, particularly in the diaspora, including myself, that did a lot of background work in campaigning, in lobbying the international community, the African Union itself, to say that you would be doing Kenyans a disservice by having this guy installed as Africa's president. That's what they called him then. And thank God they listened to us, and you saw what happened, right? And I'm telling you from personal experience. Right now, as we speak, there's lobbying going around behind the scenes in the diaspora with many governments, including this in the United States. And I don't fear saying that to bring a lot of pressure to bear. The government has given us the conduit. In other words, they've given us the way to do it by way of these abductions, the killings that they've been doing over time. And now there's a lobby. Started what do you call it, a petition. I shared your platforms, with your networks. There's work going behind toward the ICC. At least it will help to open an investigation. No clear. That's why you have people in the Sudan or elsewhere dying, especially in Africa. And especially taken out to the international community with whom Ruto and anybody else in that country will listen to before they listen to us. That's the breaking point. That's the point there where we have to take this matter to. So I'm going. I think I've spoken enough, but I just want to implore you guys. Time for lamentation is over. Time for action is now. So this kid that just got killed, I mean, just like a dog, they don't care. I mean, they just don't. And we can fight all we want and argue with them unless they hear from Trump, unless they hear from what's his name, Ruto's former attorney from the ICC. That's the only time they take a break. They look back. If you listen to the Finnish president that came to Kenya and what Ruto told him, he said, I've ordered for the kidnappings to stop. And I've also ordered for those who were kidnapped to be returned. If that's not an admission of his involvement, then I don't know what is. But that aside, it's time for us to have a word in what happens in that country. So please, if you see me, follow me. If there's a way to share this petition other than what I already posted, take a look at it. If you think it merits your support, share it. Share it with your networks, because the more numbers we show, the easier it will be to convince other international community members to step in or at least lend their voice. We cannot let our country fall into Sudan or South Sudan or the Congo because we don't do anything. Like they haven't done anything. That's exactly where we're headed. So thank you for lending me your ear, and hopefully, I made a good point, at least one to any one of you. But let's go to work. No more lamentations. Let's just go to work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we are on the top of the hour. Thank you for all the speakers. I'll just read a few comments online. There are folks who have been trying to tweet, and I will read a comment from Japong. We can't afford to be silent any longer. That was Japong. There is Wangu Amakere says, so sorry for your loss. Dr. Milton, thank you for your compassionate views. We love your beloved Kenya and we'll fight for it. Thank you, Wangu Amakere. And then we have Wanyambura Wanyoike who says, back. I ask teachers that question, Hannah, why is that no one complains for the people who suffer in custody, who die in hospital, who students who shed blood in the hands of brutal teachers? Then we have the final comment comes from Nyambura Wanyoike. People fight only one part of the system. They fight the police for reacting and Ruto for initiating. How about the judiciary? Yet it is the body that related with the disciplinary action. Why are the top judges silent but do pass whatever? Thank you so much for all your comments. Who was next, Redemptor, on the speaker panel as we come to the end of this session? Thank you.
Sorry, I hope I don't skip anyone, but Mtufulani, and then Hon Donut, then Maura.
Thank you. In that order, thank you.
Thank you, Hillary, Redemptor, Abdi. Thank you guys for holding these spaces on Sundays religiously. So I've been listening, and there's no real call to action. We just come here and rant, but there's no real call to action. Okay, fine. In the spirit of ranting, I will say we are regressing as a nation. We are regressing badly. We are regressing. Education was free-ish, free sort of, but it's not now. It's officially off. Healthcare, there was a way NHIF was coming through, in one way or another. Now it's not. So even people used to buy cars from the showroom. How many people can afford to buy cars from the showroom now? We are regressing as a nation. People, we need to wake up and do something about this. I can hear a lot of noise. What's going on? Somebody needs to mute the
Okay,
mic.
it's David. I'll mute him. Okay, David, can you mute your mic? Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Let me do that. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah. So we are regressing as a nation. We are regressing.
Okay, did we lose Mutufulani?
She's is ringing. I don't know. Mutuflani, you're ringing. We can't hear you. Mora, go ahead as we wait. Mutuflani maybe he come back. And I think he was giving way forward, which is very important. Mora, go ahead.
Okay,
Mutuflani
okay,
unahang.
okay. Thank you. Tafadhali David, unaweza mute your mic please. David.
No,
Bado
I am
hujamute.
muted. That must be somebody else, not me.
Be Mutufulani. Abdi, maybe you can mute them from your end.
Okay, I did. Where's Mutufulani? Okay, I mute him. Okay, Mutufulani dropped. Okay. Go ahead, Maura. Maura, the mic is yours. Is Maura there?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah. We are where we were. We were where we were right now in Kenya, when we were in early 90s, even before the repair of Section 2A, when it was a daily occurrence, people fighting, people being picked by police, people being taken to Nyayo torture chambers. Now, but I don't see. I'm not. I'm not surprised by what is taking place now at the Ruto, because for those who remember, Ruto is a student of Moi. Ruto and Uhuru, how ni watoto ambao they ran at the feet of the Kano dictator, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. And the saddest thing is that in 2013, when these people came to power, we brought people to power who were taught by somebody who governed us via a different constitution. They governed somebody who governed where the judges were appointed by him, by Moi, where you couldn't question him, where Mutukubu was the name. You see, so that's the tragedy that we had in Kenya. And for those who have been following from 2013 up to where we are today, Uhuru and Ruto were on one key mission: to completely kill all independent institutions. They started with the IPOA, they finished that one. The selection of the IGP of police, you remember in the original version of 2010, the executive had absolutely nothing to do with the appointment of IGP. But you remember the Duale brought, you remember the state security bill that came, and it gave somehow the president or the executive a hand. You see, and that is how some people lost even their job. Some like the former Deputy Inspector General of Police, Grace Kaindi, when she refused some data deals that were going on in the police force. This new, they also killed the son who did the leadership. The Duale also, the whole time, they also killed. So they killed almost all institutions. The institutions that we expect them to be completely independent, like the IPOA, the DPP, you can see how the DPP have been used both by Uhuru and Ruto. So we are living with a new constitution, but actually we are in a much worse than the one that Daniel Toroitich arap Moi used. Because when Moi was ruling using the old constitution, and we were okay because katiba ilikuwa inamruhusu atawale namna hiyo. So I can conclude with somebody here, Bonnie and Milton and somebody and David, that we need now to take action because we cannot continue like this. The only thing now Kenyans are doing is just paying taxes and nothing more. No service is being delivered anyway. And the most shocking thing is that every weekend you see politicians who are arrived to State House going and dishing millions. Somewhere in Kapsalat, I think 450 million was dished. Yet, if you go to hospitals, they are not working. Now they have scrapped the free education. There is nothing. Money for health that was being given now is no longer there. So nothing. They are, and another thing they are doing is just selling state properties. They were Tony fishing port. They are now selling it. Kwale fishing port. They are now selling it. They had point so either KICC or Kenya Pipe and everything. You see. So I think if Ruto stays in power until 2027, which I'm praying to God, he shouldn't. God should either Mungu afanye yake. He can even take him away actually. After all, kila mtu atakufa. I think Ruto will leave this country completely broke and everything have been sold. But also, another thing I see is that in 2027, that is if we reach there with Ruto, something worse might happen because Ruto might refuse to leave power. That is my greatest worry. And he refuses to leave power, then something may be worse than what happened in 2007, for those who remember, might happen. So for me, what I'm doing now is either we take action or we pray for something divine. As a believer in the Bible, I believe that something divine. You remember when Jerusalem was invaded and King Hezekiah only prayed, and an angel came and killed around 185,000 soldiers from the Syria, or the parting of the Red Sea. You see, so me, I believe something divine can happen because we cannot continue like this. You cannot arrest somebody, bring him from Homa Bay all the way to Nairobi, and then the following morning you didn't even book him with the OB. The following morning you tell us amejigokesha kwa ukuta ndio akakufa. You can't do that. People have been killed, others have been disappearing. You see, that's why I'm saying we are in a much worse place than that when we are in the moment. So let's come together, Kenyans. Let's look for a way forward. You see, the only solution that is now have been left is just to find a way to kick this person out because it's too much. Hatuwezi kuendelea namna hii. We are only paying tax. Our money is being rooted right left center. People who are close to Ruto are donating millions. Where are these millions coming from? Yet there is no money for free education. There is no money for medical care. You see, our roads are in bad state. You see, corruption is at peak. Hizi pesa zinatoka wapi? I think Ruto has a mission to root the country, settle anything that is settlable. If we reach power 2027, the one who is going to come will make not an empty cover, but a state that has completely nothing to call this property belongs to the government of Kenya. So let's organize ourselves. Let's look for the way forward. Either we withdrew and now kicking Ruto via what do you call it? If you impeach him, that one is impossible because now we have a bread-based government. So he can marshal the MPs, and that's a move. You don't even dream of that. Either through another way, and this is the only time since Kenya got independence we have somebody in the military, the CDA, the chief of defense was talking and supporting the government. Hatujawahi kuwa na hiyo. Even Moi never crossed that line. Yes, we know they were on his side, but he couldn't tell the people like Morige, Muhammad to talk on his side. No. Moi, you knew how he's saying. I think the one thing I liked about Moi, he was very evil, but Moi knew when to hold on and when to let go. That's something that this regime is lacking. And my prayer is that God, in his divine wisdom, in his divine way, in his divine power, will remove this person before we come to 2027. So, mi yangu ni kuomba, manake sina majeshi. Thank you.
Thank you, Maura. Thank you, Maura. I just want to cycle back to somebody by the name Mutufulani, just to clarify these spaces are not for ranting. They are vital platform where citizens express their views, vent, and most importantly, organize and mobilize for justice. The momentum in this movement is real and growing, from towns to villages countrywide. These marches for justice and accountability are actually happening. And this spaces is one of the conveyors, a key channel to connect, inform, drive action. So there is no regression here, only a resolve to move forward. I think Redemptor will talk to that later. But who was next, Redemptor? And then as we come to the closing end, before we go to our closing remarks from our panelists. Donna?
Oh, Donna. Okay, Donald,
Hold
go
on,
ahead.
hold on.
Mutuflat, go
Abdi,
ahead. Yeah,
can I just respond?
yeah, finish and then
Please.
Donald. Yeah.
But Abdi, I was saying we are regressing as a country, not as this space. Okay, we hold these spaces to we are ranting, but there's no real call to action. Calling to accountability to who? Invisible faces. The government. Oh, the county. Oh, nobody. Let's put real names to these faces. Who real names and real faces to this accountability we want. It's like the way the media reports. I call them Gideri because experts said you need to do this. Which experts? What is the research they did? Where is this research? What methodology did they use? Those are the kind of questions I like to answer or hear about. How these things put names to faces. So and so said his research does XYZ, or her research does X, is giving us this information XYZ. Put names to faces. That is how you get accountability. Not just saying the government or the county or this body, this organization. No, like this or MPs like this. We are going to be cheated as Africans. That's how they cheat us and use us. You'll be following those rankings and saying why so and so is not there, so and so is not there, and you forget the big picture. There's something else going on. We are busy following that ranking, and instead of looking at the real issues. Why are we poor? Why are we not having healthcare? Why are we not having education? Why are we not having services? Because the government has decided that we should not have these services. We are just here to pay taxes for nothing. Taxes, it is very clear, and I've said this before. Taxes we are paying and we are getting no services. Many of us, wale wako na uwezo wanashinda wakisumbuliwa, so and so we need to pay, so and so we need to pay for the hospital, so and so we need to raise money for school, so and so we need to raise money for this and that. And these are services that the government should be handling, and you are being taxed for them. So how long will this continue? So we need an action plan, and I'm telling you, I gave this action plan before. Stop paying taxes. If you can avoid, change your contract to consultancy. Bill by your expenses. I gave that one. Another one, we have a general strike. Everybody stays home, but Kenyans are too greedy. Others will come. So it's just pushing towards mandamano. And I know Redemptor is with me on this. The general strike idea is the best, but people are not hearing. They're not listening. The general strike, everybody just stay home. We just need to stock up on supplies. But then between now and the next 2 weeks, we just stock. We agree to saidiane. We just stock up on supplies and everybody stay home. That's it. Stay home, starve the government of taxes. That's it. Because hizo risasi wanatumia, hizo masubaru zinawekwa mafuta na pesa yetu. We funding our own operation? Hiyo ndio swali. That's the only question I want you guys to answer on this space. It's at the end. Yes. But that's the only question in my mind that matters. Why are we funding our own operation? Can we stop it? Yes. Why are we not stopping it? Now tell me why. I yield.
Thank you, and we had you. Yeah, so that's right. This week, the judiciary has offered a glimpse of hope. I don't know whether you saw Justice Mugambi, who struck down a parliament attempt to deny counties around 10 billion road funds, affirming that the funds, the constitution, it is within the affirming that the constitution was not a political greed. The constitution is supreme over political greed. And another thing is about the court ruling that blocked the attempt to sneak back the what is it called, the CDF, through an amendment bill. This ruling is also clear. Parliament is not above the law. So there are a lot of things, moving parts that are happening. And this is the money that is used to empower people. And once the judiciary steps as a bastion of hope, and then pieces keep moving. You saw like a young mind of Ross Njeri who was harassed and detained for building a civic tool, a civic education tool. I think pressure is real, and that's why we must say louder, more organized, more unshaken. Thank you very much. Redemptor, let's go to the next speaker, and then we go to our closing remarks. Asante sana Mutufulani for your comment.
Yeah, I think Donald go. Dr. Wait, Rajesh, right? Dr. Donald.
Yeah, go on,
Thank you,
Redemptor.
Hillary, Redemptor, Abdi, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very sad evening. Thanks so much for this space. Sometimes we get to understand a few things here and there. And it's chilling. I've traversed the world. Kenyans are the most hardworking people that I've met and I live with. We work irrespective of the punitive taxes that the government raises to what level. We get accustomed to them. We move on. We push. Kenya has a problem of leadership. Abdi has just given a nod to the judiciary ruling about the levies that they've allowed counties to manage now. I'm an elected leader in this county, in this country, in a county in this country. And I want to tell you, it's worse. I wish we had spaces where we can dissect and give you details of what is happening with your monies. The moment we will realize that these taxes, these fueling Subarus, going around harassing Kenyans, stealing our money, this is our money, this is our real money. I tell my elected people that if I come here to tell you that I am doing this and I need you to clap for me, I'm actually slapping you on the face and telling you're stupid, because this is your money. Budgeted corruption at the county level is on another level. We have governors who have cases pending, but even our independent institutions have lost it. That you give protection fees as a governor, you're not touched. Governors who are seen shouting and speaking truth to power are targeted. Just the other day, just giving an example, the governor for Trans Nzoia, EACC, when they released their statement about his arrest, they talked about 1.2 billion. Getting to the courts, it was 2 million shillings. And I can assure you, down it, nothing is going to happen. The former Busia governor was arrested some years back for some graft. The case was dropped the other day. There's no case that goes to conclusion. Either this shoddy investigation, there's no evidence, the case was politically instigated, and we have a lot of issues. Someone has talked about ranting. Guys, it is now or never. In this county that I live in, I've tried my best to try and live to the call of my constitutional role and the call that I swore to uphold and respect this constitution. But I can tell you the fight is enormous. I live in a town, I have to live in 4 houses. Why? Because I'm fighting a governor. I'm not fighting him because we have any personal issues. I'm raising fundamental issues to do with accountability of our resources. It is sad.
Ayapana, this guy is gaslighting us. Boni Mwangi is here. He has all the facts from Trans Nzoia, every county. So I think this guy is gaslighting us. Siko baya, lakini I'm sorry I had to interrupt, but gaslighting, no. This guy is gaslighting us. Because Boni ako hapa, and he can answer you.
Mtu
Everything
fulani
that's
omba
happening
mic.
in Trans Nzoia,
Mtu fulani omba mic. Wacha amalize and then you can omba mic or you rebuttal.
It's good manners to respect other people's views. I'm speaking from a perspective and I'm in it. It is what I'm doing. I'm giving you a general view of what is happening. So whether it's gaslighting or not, I don't know what you think about it. What Boni gives, Boni has given us details. preview to that. But what I'm telling you is that the moment we will realize the potential Kenyans we have, we should not even be having a date today. Fact is, money is budgeted for corruption at the county level. It is worse. And what we are seeing at the national level is just a fraction of it. Nothing is happening on the ground. We devolved corruption, and there's no development going on at the grassroots level. Thank you.
What is the way forward, Honorable Donald? What is the way forward before Rajesh?
One of the biggest challenges that I've faced in leadership is that we bring in people who do not understand the flow of the house. So this is our own problem. And unless that time comes that good people of integrity will come forward for these positions, I reached a point and I said, why did I leave my private sector to come and be in public service? But again, who is going to do it? We must come forward and take these positions.
Okay. Dr. Rajesh, go ahead. Mwangi, you'll come in after Rajesh. Dr. Rajesh, go ahead.
Good evening.
Good.
Well, it's almost night.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
Very well. It is interesting to hear sober perspectives at 10:40 in the night. Yet you will find our newspapers and our media amplify what is not to be heard. People like Honorable Sudi talking chest thumping, showing us that they can distribute 147 million shillings worth of goodies at a stroke of a pen. And then we have today's saddest day of the killing of an activist, a new father. This country is polarized. There is nobody to unite the tribes of this country. And it is very sad. I don't have any solutions. I only have opinions. But where is this country heading without an opposition, a functional opposition, and without any sense of integrity? If our politicians do not answer these questions, we are heading to a state of anarchy of these citizens who are now tired, overtaxed, overburdened, and we are living in an oppressed society. Oppressed, and people can't view their feelings, opinions, whether it is online, whether it is in the social settings. You can't. So what democracy is this? This handshake government. Where are we going? It's depressing. It's mentally depressing. That's about all I can say. But thank you for such a space. This is quite sobering.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Rajesh, we really appreciate your views and comment. Bonnie heading to a meeting. We'll bring in Bonnie. Bonnie, the mic is yours.
Awesome. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks again. So I just wanted to make a quick comment about
Lost Mutufulani Redemptor. Do you know where? Did you see Mutufulani around? You're asking him to respond. Okay. Go ahead, Bonnie.
You can hear me, right?
Nimetoka lakini. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make a quick comment about there was a comment made by someone about what I think is Donald that was talking about the MCA from Kakamega. I don't think there's anything that Donald said that was incorrect. I mean, we have to pay homage to someone like Donald, who's part of a government, has the opportunity to steal, but is deciding to do the right thing. You know, this is exactly what we need in government. Kakamega has a lot of problems, like every other county has in our country. What we have to do, guys, is to work together as opposed to chastising people when they come here. We have to work together. Particularly people that are in government like him have the ability to help us understand what the problems are. So I just wanted to say that let's try to focus on not chastising people, not cutting down people. Donald spoke. I have nothing against him. I have heard him on a few occasions on these spaces, and he's offering sober thoughts. So we don't need to be divided and focusing on cutting down people. Thank you.
Thank you. Redemptor, who was next on the panel? And then we can. I see we are adding speakers. We are coming to the end of the panel. We'll do the closing remarks. I think there is somebody.
You've added Gavas. Is new.
Okay, let him just go, and then we can.
Michael, pick up a mic. Gavas is sleeping, man. So we can go to free. Nicholas, so you go ahead. Then Dr. Kimani.
Yeah, I had spoken earlier, but I just want to say that on matters of us looking for ways out of these things, we must work together and we must work in different fronts. So the reality of the fact is this is a fight that has to get to a point at one point or another. And somebody said it might not even go to 2027. So we must find ways of gluing ourselves together. And this incident that has just happened has to give us one of the first entries to this, because it looks like some energy had dissipated. It is now time to come back, and we must come back in a big way, and let's not just play games anymore. This is something that we must fight all through. Thank you for the chance.
If the government is unwilling to act, fails to act, or proves that there is genuineness in their action. Since 2024, June 25th, 2024, many people have been abducted, many people have been killed. The best we've gotten out of the government in regards to that whole situation, one is a speech to say all the people who were abducted were returned to their families. Partially true. He failed to say that some of them came back dead, but also he failed to say that the abductions were illegal. And also he went above to say, if I did anything wrong, I am sorry. We are sorry. That is not justice at all. And it has proved that we cannot get that justice here, because if they were to act in any way, then we would have seen even one prosecution, even one court process up to now. The same way they are pushing for the process for the Kaspool MP, and we are seeing progress, we would have seen something. It happened way before them, and it continues to happen. We would have seen any action from them, but we have not seen it, except just a few speeches here and there. So because I am not physically present, I am going to be part of the action for the ICC push. Let all of us engage in this. If these people cannot be like, if upon themselves they cannot choose to do good, we are going to shame them into doing the right thing, or we
for giving yourself to do that. Let me go to Mati Vilka. How are you? Go ahead.
Yes, I'm fine. It is true that the government is getting me. My mic is having a problem.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. The government that we are in today, I don't know how to call it a government because truly people are being abducted. Like recently, I was just going through a news. I just got somebody was abducted just recently in Homa Bay. Then you hear the DCI's report is giving that is out that he just knocked the head on a side and he died. Very fake news. So it is time for us to rise. We rise again. We push this government into the corner until they do what is necessary. Otherwise, thank you.
Asante sana. Mutfulani, can I give you 1 minute and then we move on to our closing remark?
So thank you, Thank you, Abdi. Now I'm a bit more calm. So I just want to speak slowly. Dear Kenyans, we are in a tight place. Maybe many of you might not realize it. These abductions and what is going on. And I asked before, maybe I was not clear. How much is a Kenyan life worth? And I will use the words of Tupac. Is it a bottle of juice or what? Because if somebody can just go like that, and he's not the first one, there are others before him, and we just let these things slide. So this is a provocation. They are provoking us to see, okay, we have done this. Mtadu, am I clear? We have done this. We have done this. To this man. Oblivious to some things until it happens to you or someone close to you is when you decide to act. Don't wait for that. Please, let's take action today, now, here. Let's take action. Actions are many I can give. If it's communication, get mesh tastic. I know people I've asked people in diaspora, can you get us mesh tastic? Or some of us can get for ourselves, some of us cannot. Mesh tastic, we communicate. We need to organize and mobilize because we cannot have the same thing we had last year. That will not work. Others are saying occupy state house, fine, but that will not work if you go with the same strategy for last year. This government needs to go. We don't have a government. We don't have a country, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have a country. We are becoming squatters in our own country, one way or another. We are in a plantation. You need to understand that, first of all. Even if you earn 600,000, 700,000, 300,000, it doesn't matter. You are in a plantation. There is a glass ceiling which you cannot pass. And I believe many of you want to live the best lives that you can. This thing of saying that we are doing it for our kids, or we hope, me, I want to enjoy the benefits when I'm alive, and then I can pass them down to my kids. But first, it has to work for me. I'm sorry, I'm selfish. But, and I know many are. So if you're going to do all these things that you're doing, then the government tomorrow changes policy and it affects you. Look at now how people who have money in MMF are suffering. MMF is not an investment, it's a savings plan, better than it's just putting your savings. And they've been loaning to the government. Now the government has decided to go single digits. Look now. Look now. So how we need to rise up and do what's right by us ourselves and for posterity, our kids. This thing of coming here and complaining, no, stop it.
Okay.
Do what's right.
Thank you, Mr. Matofulani. Thank you again. Now we'll still go to Idara. Did she speak? Idara?
Not yet. Not yet. She can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was on a different screen. I'm very glad to hear that you guys are organizing to take action. And this incident you've had has only been going on for, did someone say, about a year? Is that right? So you're having a lot of kidnappings and so on in your country? Yeah. Okay. Well, in my country, and actually I'm in California, but I'm from Nigeria, and we have had worse than kidnapping. Over 3. You can imagine that in what's going on in Nigeria. I am very sure it's the same group of individuals, because there is a network of people that are involved in terrorism, and unfortunately they have ties to our particular government in Nigeria. Is part of it, because they have done nothing. They have refused assistance from, the UK, and the US offered assistance to end the insecurity. The soldiers are in Nigeria. So it's good that you guys are taking initiative already this early. And one thing that's happening is that criminals are becoming part of the government, and their motive is not to build a society. For some reason, instead of doing what is a good, they just and I think one of the things that can be done is to have some sort of coalition to approach the UN, because every human being has a right to self-defense. No government can take that away from you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you for the comment. Yeah, we are talking about in regards to deaths, in regards to police brutality.
yes.
Actually,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please.
have been
Oh, yeah. That's another problem. Yeah.
you and
Okay. Yeah. It's. I was discussing something way worse, but yeah, police brutality is something that the society because when you have an armed institutions that are not ethical, the society is, becomes prey. So the best defense is for all of you guys to stand together and demand accountability, document what is going on, and you have to attack the government because they're the ones that are hiring the policemen. So if their re-election is in jeopardy, you have to organize to find someone that cares about issues like civil liberties like that to replace them, and just make sure that's one certain way to make sure that the government is removed. But anyway, yeah, that's what's my opinion.
Thank you, thank you, thank you again for your submission. Okay, we are coming to the end of the. We are almost at the end of the hour. We'll be doing a quick closing statement. Redemptor, how do we proceed? Dr. Kimani, we give you 1 minute, and then we go to Dr. Milton, and then to
There's
Bonnie.
one person. There's one person who hasn't spoken. Marty Vilka. They have the mic. Marty Vilka, you have the mic. Then after that, everyone else has spoken. Okay, so we don't hear him. Dr. Kimani, do you want to make your final submissions?
Yeah, I can do that quickly. Thank you so much for everything. Can you hear me though?
Yes,
Yes.
Karibu.
Okay, thank you so much. So, as I said initially, and I think today we have had very, very heavy submissions, and they give us the momentum to do whatever we are supposed to do from Monday all the way to Saturday, whatever that is supposed to do, whether that is is to go to bed with this regime that is so rogue. It doesn't matter, as we have said. We all live we live every day, but we die once. And we cannot continue waiting to see, because we know that this is the month that we shall be commemorating the deaths of so many GenZs that we are met by brutal forces of the police of Kenya, and we cannot join them at any point. We need to change our country in one way. I have heard people talking about pesa ikiletwa mkule. Please, that is your own money that's supposed to be in the hospital. Can you ask those people why they're giving you that money today? Because it is not helpful at all. And as somebody, I think it's David who would mention about, the responsibility or the impetus or whatever it is that the diasporians can do. I believe and I know if anybody has any history, you remember that most of the African head of states, when Africa became, most states started becoming what they are today, most of this was made and created in the diaspora, because I know like now people are being disappeared in Kenya. So we will need to regroup, whether it is in diaspora or elsewhere, and make sure whatever ideas we have, whatever resources we're going to mobilize, they go to the right channel, they go to the right cause. And for now, I want to wish you all a good night. It's a good morning, good afternoon for me here. And I will see you some other time. And Polisana, Dr. Milton, for the ordeal that you had to go a few years ago. So thank you so much. And thank you so much here for this Redemptor Abdi. Salute. Thank you so much.
Asante sana, Daktari. I'll just read a few comments coming from few friends, and here he says, "Free Kenya, isn't Kenya the republic? It's Kenya Incorporated. We're moving to unify and oppose Nakado, and we go for referendum." Hannah posted, "June, no more deaths, justice for Alberto Juang." Thank you, Dr. Milton, for your compassion and views. Over to you, Redemptor. Over to you, Dr. Milton, for your closing remark.
Okay, do I go first before Dr. Milton?
Let's let Milton and Bonnie go, and then you go next as the final closing.
Okay, good people. I want to appreciate every one of you for taking the time to be here. I will take a moment to recognize and pay tribute to all the men and women that have paid the ultimate price. Tell this platform my personal story and the experience that my family has gone through as a result of the rogue police that we have. And to that extent, these matters of extrajudicial killings and police brutality are personal to us, to me and my family, and we therefore um, always acknowledge and take it with a sense of deep sorrow when we see families go through what we went through 6 years ago. But be as it may, I want to conclude tonight's space with a call to action. And my call to action is plain and simple. We must sustain mass action against this regime until they fall, either willingly or through consequences of our mass action. What that means is we have seen what has happened with the Arab Spring. We have we need to pick the lessons from those successful wherewithal to help inspire the present generation and the different generations of our time to rise up against in what Junet once told us that they are cows who, and therefore we are saying that William Ruto's autocracy does not just represent him, but it represents all the cows, and I'm using that word loosely as it has been used by the political class themselves to say that all of them must go. We have to drain the swamp, and we must be able to ensure that we rise, that we sustain it, each one teach one, and more importantly, we must make sure that we don't fall into the tribal narrative that we are being invited into, number one. Number two, we must also be able to say that we fight from our strongest corner. What I mean by that is that we, just like the biblical teaching, and this is going to be my last point. All of us are given different abilities, and all of us have different capacities and talents from given to God. And just like the men of the cloth, or those who believe in religion, are taught that in the house of God are many talents, and all these people are given these talents to the glory and honor of the Almighty. I want to implore that as
I
Kenyans,
can't hear Dr. Milton. Renato, can you hear?
as Kenyans,
Yes, yes, we can hear.
as Kenyan country, because it is being defiled. And therefore, if you're a lawyer, please do your part. If you're a journalist, do your part. If you are a civil society, have what is sometimes referred to as the Babylonian moment. That when the Tower of Babel crumbled, it is because they could not speak the same language. And somebody could ask for a hammer and somebody gives something else. We must make sure that we coordinate our activities. Our approach right now must be measured, must be strategic, but also must be urgent. And that is why I join everyone that is calling for maandamano, everyone that is calling for mass action from as early as tomorrow. Others would say that maybe there are people who are not in Nairobi, who are not in Kenya, who are not wherever. I would want to pick out something and tell you it is not just about people, not all of us. If you look at the struggle against apartheid, it was not successful because those that were not in South Africa physically were alienated from that and told you can't do it because you're sending our children to the streets when you're far away. Every one of us has a role to play, like Dave said, in the diaspora. Let's mobilize that which we can do, the resources that you need. If people need water, people need any sort of incentive, any sort of motivation, every one of us has a role to play at the end of the day, regardless of their geographical or physical location at the time a specific activity or event is taking place. Ultimately, our contribution will be celebrated regardless of where we were or what we did, however small, when this story is written and it is a successful one. I want to end it at that and ask you all that let us not give up on our country. It is a great country and we must do everything together. Thank you and God bless you.
Asante, asante, Dr. Milton. We go to Bonnie, still there. Bonnie, the mic is yours for closing remark.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Fellow Kenyans, we love to talk about our constitution in this country, about how beautiful and progressive it is. That constitution gives us a lot of rights. On paper, it's very progressive and it's very, forward-looking. But those rights don't mean a damn thing when we do not go out and defend them. When you look around and you see these recent abductions by our government, it is nothing but a blatant disregard for the rule of law and the dignity of every Kenyan. It is not the Kenya that we fought for, and we deserve better. We cannot sit here and wait for anybody to come and fix it. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. The ability to change Kenya and the power to change Kenya is in our hands. The question is, what are we going to do about it? We must remind this government that sovereignty belongs to the people, that we are the bosses and they are their servants. Last thing I want to say is do not allow the oppressors to define what patriotism is for you, right? In this country today, if you criticize your government, you either kill because they say that you are acting on behalf of someone else or that you're perverted. We criticize our government because we want it to be better. And we don't have to apologize to anybody for that. So we need to rise up, act with unity and courage, and reclaim our freedoms and fight for a better country. The future, as I told you, is not worth it if it's going to mean the same thing. We need to fight.
Some people are having a very hard day, and I understand why. That's why when we come to this space, we are also bringing the energy of how we are experiencing our country. And I would ask him if Fulani was still here, what would have happened if after 1 year you came and there was no space? There's this assumption that people who are on spaces are not on the ground, that we are so detached with what is going on around us. Actually, the fact that we know what's going on the ground is why we speak. When the state fails to deliver information or gives us skewed information, some of us refer to ourselves as the fifth estate, and we come to do it from that point of view. And so I really do detest the word ranting, complaining, and then coalitions, broad-based this, and then we have the 10 beggars, 10 million beggars. That's just a changing of the coining by the late J.M. Kariuki. I had to note that people assume the Kenyans who talk are the most dangerous. We come here to not beat drums of war, but to caution the ruling class that there's a revolt that is going to emerge again. And we love our country enough to say, these are the things people are complaining about. If you don't change this, they are coming for you. We got there last year. And even now, as we speak, nobody can tell the youth what to do and what not to do. And the question I asked the ruling class, that is that nature abhors vacuum. And what happened is we did not have a place for leadership. We had a place for deals and dealers. And the young people noticed there was no leadership, there was no guidance, there was no it is because this clan has always believed they want to be, you're lying to yourself. You're maybe in the group of multimillionaire and you're protecting your interests. And so I ask these people, what if you beat the drums of war when you dare us and you say, mimi si mtu wa kutishwa, when you say things like mambo ni matatu. And so I think what some of these people are saying is, I will not lose power. I will not lose the funds, the money, the loot. I will not lose it. And they say, I will not lose power. And they say, over your dead body. They don't say over my dead body. They say over your dead body. And so I asked them, what if the young people of this country will say, I will not lose my country over my dead body? And the next time they revolt, even as mothers will not be able to contain them. We tried. When some got shot, we were calling helter skelter, don't go. And people blame us for that. And I think they've been watching us, and some of them say you're just yappers. Some are sleeping into these spaces and coming and bringing the rage they feel. And I must say I'm noticing that there's an element of trying to hijack euphoria and trying to contain the rage. And they do it by making sure that June 25th is a distant memory. And this is my appeal to people who love this country and they have some safety of distance, that we are relying on you to remember our fallen heroes. They will not even allow us to remember them with dignity. We saw what happened in October 10th when we tried to assemble in Uhuru Park. And even as the young people come back on spaces, I will caution everyone who cares for this country, in as much as you want to support people, there will be a lot of people who are coming back to look for opportunities because they have handlers. So I've always told Kenyans, please listen to with discernment as we talk on these spaces. I can tell you the truth. Sometimes when people come here and speak, I can tell this person has been sent to disrupt a space or to sell an agenda. The truth is, we are almost being enslaved by a few people. That's the truth. And I speak for myself, for my family, and for the people who influence. And I want the people who think if you hurt one person who is speaking, that's the end. For every person you kill, and you use excuses for killing, for every Albert, there will be 100, 1,000 by the time elections come. Irony, but they never, I mean, they like to use the word, what's the word they use? Anarchy. They really love the then they are inviting anarchy. That's not what we desire for our country. And don't put words in our mouth. What we care is a just society. And society is self-regulating. We know we will have a president in this country who stands for what we stand for. We know it. Some of us know it from a very spiritual level, like Maura said, and Elijah child growing up. So we know there are people who think they can kill the baby, they can stop this from happening, but we always leave room, and Abdi knows I say this, for the mystical and the divine. They are busy maybe in the mystical, doing jujus, doing everything to stay in power. We are relying on the divine. Whatsoever things are good, so we can say only God is our strength. And if you don't believe in God, whatever you do, as long as it's true and just support those who seek inwardly for the spiritual intervention when they are hurting from bad leadership. Asanteni wa Kenya wazalendo.
Asante sana, asante sana. Thank you very much, Redemptor, always. Thank you to all our speakers, guests, and everyone who joined us tonight. Firm by demanding a Kenya where dignity, justice, and truth are not punished but protected. Tonight, we also raise another concern over another young voice under siege. Kelvin's story, his crime was speaking truth to power. Tonight, we say, rest in power, Albert. Your fight lives on in us. Thank you for being part of Pressure Point. Thank you, Lynn Ngugi, for always being here. I see you, I hear, and I feel the rage in you. See you next weekend, same time. Good night. Over to you, Hillary.
Okay, Redemptor, can you hear me? Or Abdi? All right, thank you so much, guys. What you've said, let us put it in the action. And nothing much. They are not talking about the young man who just died. They cannot kill the young man. They're saying that that man was jumping on the ceiling. How can that happen? It was so unfortunate that we have a country, we have this conversation, but a call to action all the time. What can we do? I like Mutuflani, what you were saying. Let them to be achievable. If you have any idea, reach upon us, reach to us, that then we see how our speakers. We have a lot of ideas, we have the things to do. So we don't need big names. We are the big names. Let us make it ourselves as we push forward. I know so many people are running over to hear what big names are saying. And that's the unfortunate thing. And that's where we fail. Dear friends, dear Kenyans, it is us to make our names to be big. And it is us now to take action. May God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful